Chapter 24 of The Sword and the Stone, the final chapter. That's not the name of the chapter. The chapters don't have names, but this is the final chapter in the book. Perhaps there ought to be one more chapter about the coronation. The barons naturally kicked up a dreadful fuss, but as the wart was prepared to go on putting the sword into the stone and pulling it out again till doomsday, and as there was nobody else who could do the thing at all, in the end they had to give in. A few revolted and were quelled later. But in the main, the people of England were glad to settle down. The coronation was a splendid ceremony, and, what was still more splendid, it was like a birthday or Christmas Day. Everybody sent presents to the wart for his prowess in having learned to pull swords out of stones, and several burghers of the city of London asked him to help them in taking stoppers out of unruly bottles, unscrewing taps which had got stuck, and other household emergencies which had got beyond their control. The dog boy and Wat clubbed together and sent him a mixture for the distemper which contained quinine and was absolutely priceless. Goat sent him a watch chain, plaited out of his own beard. Cavil came quite simply and gave him his heart and soul. The nurse of the Forest Sauvage sent a cough medicine, 30 dozen handkerchiefs, all marked with a pair of combinations with a double chest. The sergeant sent him his medals, to be preserved in the British Museum. Hob lay awake in agony all night and sent off Cully with brand-new white leather jesses, silver varvels, and a silver bell. Robin and Marian went out on an expedition which took them 6 weeks, and sent a whole gown made out of the skins of pine martens. Little John added a yew bow 7 feet long, which he was quite unable to draw. An anonymous hedgehog sent 4 or 5 dirty leaves with some fleas on them. The questing beast and King Pellinore put their heads together and sent some of their most perfect fumants, wrapped up in green leaves of spring, and a golden horn with a red velvet baldric. Sir Grummore sent a gross of spears with the old school chest on all of them. The vicar chose a work called De Clericali Disciplinia, attributed to Petrus Alphonsus, which could be read at nights and did not have to be explained. The cooks, tenants, villains, and retainers of the castle of the Forest Sauvage, who were all given an angel each, sent up for the ceremony in a chair, a bank at Sir Ector's charge, brought an enormous silver model of Cow Crumbach, who had won the championship for the 3rd time, and Ralph Passleweave to sing at the coronation banquet. Archimedes sent his own great-great-grandson so that he could sit on the back of the king's throne at dinner and make messes in the soup. The Lord Mayor and Aldermen of the City of London subscribed for spacious aquariums cum merengue, at which all the creatures were starved for 1 day a week for the good of their stomachs, and here, for the fresh food, good bedding, constant attention, and every modern convenience, all the wart's friends resorted in their old age, on wing and foot and fin, for the sunset of their happy lives. The citizens of London sent £50 million to keep the menagerie up. The ladies of Britain constructed a pair of black velvet carpet slippers for the wart's initials embroidered on in gold. Kay sent his own record griffin with honest love. There were many other tasteful presents from various barons, archbishops, princes, landgraves, tributary kings, corporations, popes, sultans, royal commissioners, urban district councils, czars, beys, mahatmas, and so forth, but the nicest present of all was sent most affectionately by his own guardian, old Sir Ector. This present was a dunce's cap, rather like a pharaoh's serpent, which you lit at the top end. The wart lit it and watched it grow. When the flame had quite gone out, Merlin was standing before him in his magic hat. "Well, Wart," said Merlin, "here we are. Oh, word again. How nice you look in your crown. I was not allowed to tell you before, a sense, but your father was, or will be, King Uther Pendragon, and it was I myself, disguised as a beggar, who first carried you to Sir Ector's castle in your golden swaddling bands. I know all about your birth and parentage, who gave you your real name. I know the sorrows before you, and the joys, and how there will never again be anybody who dares call you by the friendly name of Wart. In future, It will be your glorious doom to take up the burden and to enjoy the nobility of your proper name. So now I shall crave the privilege of being the first of your subjects to address you with it as my dear liege lord, King Arthur." "Will you stay with me for a long time?" asked the wart, not understanding much of this. "Yes, wart," said Merlin, "or rather, should I say, or as it have said, yes, King Arthur." And that is the end of The Sword and the Stone. I hope that you enjoyed it. I think parts of that book are great and other parts are not. This may be the last time I ever read this book. I've had it on my shelf forever. I loved it when I was a teenager, but my memory of reading it this time, I really did not enjoy it that much. In fact, if I hadn't started reading it, I don't know that I would have chosen it as a book to read you. But if it has helped you with your schoolwork, or if you just enjoy listening to the sound of my voice, that makes me happy. It was a good book to end 2016 on. Stay tuned for announcements about 2017 and what I will be reading in the new year. Have a good one.